The Fisherman and the Businessman. Once upon a time, in a small village at the foot of a mountain, lived a poor fisherman. He spent all his days on his boat on the lake, fishing to put food on the table for himself and his family. The fisherman had everything he needed. He was a simple man who found happiness in the little things in life. One day, while the fisherman was casting his net into the lake, he saw a man in a suit struggling to take off his expensive leather shoes and tie. The man in the suit was obviously not used to doing such a thing. Curious, the fisherman decided to ask him, "Hey, why don't you just take your shoes off right there in the water?" "Oh, no, no, no," said the businessman, panicked. "These are my lucky shoes. I can't take them off here." "Why not? You can buy a new pair whenever you want." "Just relax," the fisherman said with a smile. But the businessman refused. A few minutes later, the businessman called out to the fisherman, "Hey, can you help me tie this damn tie?" "Sure," said the fisherman, approaching the man. "You know, it's so funny. It looks like you're more worried about your clothes than about the fish you have in your hands." "I'm sorry," said the businessman, embarrassed. "It's just that these clothes make me feel important. If they get ruined, I won't feel important anymore." The fisherman looked at the man in front of him and realized that, despite his fancy clothes, the man seemed unhappy. So he asked him, "Do you really think that being important is the secret to being happy?" "Of course," said the businessman without hesitation. "Being someone important is the only thing that matters." "Well, then let me tell you something," said the fisherman. "There's a king who has more importance than anyone else in the country. He's at the very top, right? But do you know what? Even he wishes he could be a fisherman like me. You see, a king has to worry about the safety of his kingdom, whether his people are fed, if there's enough money in the treasury, and so many other things. Can you imagine how much pressure that is? Sometimes he wishes he could escape from all that pressure and live a simple life like mine." The businessman thought for a moment. "That's true," he said. "But even a fisherman can get rich and famous. Then he won't have to worry about where his next meal is coming from. But then he'll have to worry about his boat getting stolen or his nets getting torn. Or he might get caught in a storm and might lose his life. Plus, there are days when there's no fish in the lake, and I still have to go fishing. Being rich or famous doesn't change that," said the fisherman. The businessman fell silent. He looked at the beautiful blue lake, the green mountains in the distance, and the simple yet content face of the fisherman. For the first time in his life, he felt a pang of guilt for being so obsessed with his work and status. "You know what?" he said, breaking the silence. "You're right. I think I've been chasing the wrong things in life. Maybe it's time I slow down and appreciate the little things like you do." "That's the spirit," said the fisherman with a big smile. "Being happy isn't about how much money you have or how important you are. It's about appreciating what you have and enjoying the journey, not just the destination. Now go on, take off those shoes and enjoy the water." And that's exactly what the businessman did. He took off his expensive shoes and socks, tied them together, and hung them around his neck. He rolled up his pants and jumped into the water, laughing. From that day on, the businessman visited the fisherman often. He learned how to fish and, most importantly, how to be happy. He started taking long walks in the evenings instead of working late into the night. He began to enjoy the beauty of nature around him and spent more time with his family. The businessman never forgot the valuable lesson he learned from the simple fisherman. He understood that true happiness wasn't about material possessions, social status, or even wealth. Lao Tzu said, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are." The fisherman lived this truth, while the businessman kept chasing shadows. Jiddu Krishnamurti taught, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." The businessman was a product of society's endless chase, but the fisherman was free. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, "The search for happiness is the cause of misery. Happiness is ever present. It is not something to be gained anew." The fisherman already rested in this truth. His happiness was here, not somewhere in the future. If this story touched your heart, remember, true happiness isn't in the chase, it's in the moment. Here on Truthfully Free, we share timeless wisdom and inspiring stories to help you live with clarity, purpose, and inner freedom. Thank you for watching, and may you walk in freedom, here and now.